Now, last night, the City of London Festival opened with the premiere of a piece called Tiger Dream in Forest Green. It's by the Jamaican-born composer Eleanor Alberga and will be broadcast by Radio 3 next week. Eleanor, why did you choose the tiger as your theme?
Well, it was a very interesting starting point because part of the Crumb series is a part of the festival is based on George Crumb. And that evening it was the voice of the whale that was being played. We decided to perhaps find some common theme, and the most obvious one was the environmental, endangered species, etc. And I sort of thought, well, why not something on land, as the whale was in the sea, and thought of various animals, and eventually came to the tiger, which I found very inspiring.
So how do you go about representing the tiger and the tiger's environment musically?
Well, I think the title speaks of this quite a bit. I call it Tiger Dream in Forest Green, and all those aspects I've tried to bring out in the piece, the contrasts between the quietness of the forest with other wildlife going on and the thought of the dreaming of the tiger rather than it sort of being fierce and pouncing on things all the time. And having read up about it and I saw a program on television about the tiger, realizing that there seem to be many different aspects, almost human personality aspects to the tiger, and so I wanted to go into those.
You're known, not necessarily in this piece, but certainly in other work, for drawing on a whole range of musical traditions. What are they? What do you pull together?
I pull together things from my own experience, really. I was a member of an African dance company. I was very, very drawn to African music, traditional musics, and was a dancer, and also played with the Jamaican folk singers as a teenager. And of course, since the age of 5, I've been studying classical Western music, and all these things are part of me because I'm sort of a bit of a mix-up, really.
Yeah, and yet you don't like to be viewed as a Jamaican or a black composer. Why do you shy away from that?
Well, because I think one is expected. It's just so easy to look at someone and say, yes, they're black and they're a woman, and therefore immediately, things are expected of you. You're supposed to write things that sound a bit jazzy or things with lots of rhythm in, which I do sometimes, yes, but why can't I be another composer? You don't hear of a sort of a man composer, do you?
I can't recall ever having heard that. No, let's hear another extract from one of your works. I think this was 1994, an orchestral piece for the adaptation of Roald Dahl's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And here's the part where the stepmother discovers she's not the fairest of them all.
For 10 whole years the silly queen repeated this absurd routine. Then suddenly, one awful day, she heard the magic mirror say,
"From now on, Queen, you're number 2. Snow White is prettier than you."
The queen went absolutely wild. She yelled,
"I'm going to strike that child. I'll cook her flaming goose. I'll skin her. I'll have her rotten guts for dinner."
She called the huntsman to her study. She shouted at him,
"Listen, buddy. You drag that filthy girl outside and see you take her for a ride. Thereafter, slit her ribs apart and bring me back her bleeding heart."
Great stuff. How easy is it to do that sort of thing where the music is so much dictated by the story?
Well, in this case, I found it easy and actually found it quite inspiring because I was very taken with Roald Dahl's rhyme, and really tried to get inside the characters of the music. And then, of course, you don't write a person, you write music, but it's a really sort of strong starting point.
You write for film and for dance, and I know you have also written for your husband, who's a violinist. How easy is it for you to work collaboratively like that? Or do you not collaborate with him? Do you just write for him and he plays it?
I write for him and he plays it. But I also ask him a lot of questions, and of course he has an influence on me because I know his playing, and I know the things he's very good at. His name's Thomas Bowes, and he's a wonderful violinist, and I really believe in his playing. And so, for that project, that was the great inspiration.
Now, you were a concert pianist, and you gave that up to compose. Why did you decide to make that step?
It came quite naturally. It seemed not a decision, but a matter of just a natural sort of transition. I found that I was getting more and more commissions and less time to practice to do concerts, and I thought, well, really, it's not fair on an audience to sort of just pick up things at the last minute and go on stage in front of them. And then the times for the commissions were also getting squeezed. So really, composing had taken over from piano playing as my deepest love. And I went with that.
But you did it without any formal training in composition. I mean, obviously a huge amount of training in music,
Well,
but not in the
yes.
techniques of composition. Was it difficult to train yourself to do it?
No, it didn't seem difficult. It just seemed to be a natural process to me. I think what happened was, growing up in Jamaica, I could imagine myself being a concert pianist, but I could not imagine myself being a composer. It hadn't occurred to me until much later, and I started improvising for a dance company, and then someone asked me to write something. And from there, the serious side of writing started, and just developed from there. And it's not until now that I've actually begun to go back to research and to look at techniques, because my style has been changing, and I felt I needed further tools to break through.
Just briefly, what sort of tools did you think you needed?
Well, I needed someone to tell me what other people were doing when they were writing contemporary music, that sort of thing, to listen to a lot of other contemporary composers, and to read up about the techniques and go through analysis and even counterpoint, all the very basic things. And I was incredibly lucky because just when I was thinking this, I was offered a fellowship from Nesta, which I'm now, well, there's about 1.5 years left of it to go.
So it's given you the money to be able to
So,
study
yes,
more.
it's been wonderful.
Eleanor Alberga, thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you.